It's Monday, June 17th. I'm Jasmine Anderson. Good morning. A spike in crime on the Long Island Railroad. Alfonso Castillo has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Commuters keep saying they're concerned about their safety in the transit system, and MTA officials keep pointing out that crime is actually much lower in the subways than it was a generation ago. But they can't say the same about the Long Island Railroad.
It can make you very tense. Yes, absolutely.
According to MTA police statistics obtained by Newsday, the 164 major crimes committed in the LIRR in 2023 were the most in a decade. And the numbers are even worse when you account for the fact that ridership remains well below pre-COVID levels. Per capita, the LIRR crime rate in 2023 was the highest in at least 18 years.
From 2006 to 2023, crime on the Long Island Railroad rose by more than 40%, and the number of assaults went up by even more, tripling from 2006 to 2023.
MTA police stepped up patrols on board LIRR trains last year and have suggested that may have actually contributed to the rise in assaults, as there were more opportunities for confrontations between cops and unruly passengers.
You know, this is an understandable and result of that increased enforcement.
At Mineola Station last week, several riders said they were not worried about being the victim of a crime on the LIRR, especially with more cops riding trains.
Do you have any concerns about your safety on the Long Island Railroad?
Not on the Long Island Railroad. Crime, that's number one reason I think a lot of my friends that used to take the subway have opted to take the Long Island Railroad to avoid situations like that. And it's the number one reason.
Governor Kathy Hochul even brought up transit safety concerns when defending her decision to hold off on implementing the MTA's congestion pricing plan. Monica Lyons was among those who believed pushing people to take the train rather than their cars to Manhattan could make matters worse.
All that congestion is going to be on the trains. How is the police going to be able to handle all of that means more felonies, more crime, I believe.
In Mineola, Alfonso Castillo for NewsdayTV.
Alfonso, thank you. Read more about crime on the Long Island Railroad on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. A West Islip man has died after being found unresponsive in a pool. Police say Akinola Johnson, who lives at the home on Graywood Court, was pulled from the water yesterday evening. Family members gave the 45-year-old CPR before first responders arrived, but he died at the hospital. New rules keeping things calm in Long Beach. The city by the sea started enforcing new rules on Friday. It's in response to the shooting at the LIRR station after thousands of teens partied on the beach last Thursday. The beach is now closed from dusk to dawn, and passes are now required to access the beach on weekdays. Residents we spoke with are on board with the changes.
As far as them closing the beach at dusk, if the city feels that's appropriate, I believe it is too.
Police say a 15-year-old was charged in Thursday's shooting. The victim, who was shot, is still in the hospital. The all clear has been given at 41 Long Island beaches. A weekend swimming advisory was lifted yesterday after Friday's heavy rain. The beaches are routinely affected by stormwater runoff that can impact water quality. Only a Newsday, FAFSA applications are down statewide following the delayed rollout of a new form. The nonprofit The Education Trust New York also found applications are down more than 9% across the island compared to last year. Students have until June 30th to submit for federal student aid for the upcoming school year. Pushback today over plans to replace a bridge over the Nissaquag River. Suffolk County plans to build the bridge next to a nearly century-old one at Landing Avenue in Smithtown. Some residents are voicing concern over what impact the new bridge will have on traffic in nearby wetlands. Some good news if you're flying out of or into JFK this summer. The airport opened a free drop-off pickup and waiting lot at the AirTran JFK station at Lefferts Boulevard. It's aimed at helping passengers avoid anticipated heavy traffic congestion. The airport is currently going through a $19 billion transformation. A look back today at when Long Island caught disco fever. Rayford Guzman has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Do the hustle. Disco was a way of life for many, filling dance floors across the country and here on Long Island.
They had many clubs here where they had anywhere from 700 to 1,000 people an evening or more.
I'm standing in front of 2965 Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown. Behind me is what used to be Uncle Sam's, one of the hottest discos on Long Island. A three-part documentary called Disco, Soundtrack of a Revolution, comes to PBS June 18th. It's the story of a music that was born in the Black, Latino, and gay nightclubs of urban cities and quickly became a global phenomenon. The epicenter was Studio 54 in Manhattan, but Long Island had its own vibrant scene.
Right now, we're in a restaurant called Docks. It's in Island Park. In the mid-70s, it was a club called Speaks, and sometimes it was called Speakeasy. And it was the first major dance disco club in Long Island.
Among the early disco tracks were Fly Robin Fly by Silver Convention and The Hustle by Van McCoy and the Soul City Symphony. But it was Saturday Night Fever, the 1977 film starring John Travolta, that took disco mainstream. On Long Island, nightclubs seemed to open every week. One local promoter opened a teenage disco called Guys and Dolls in Franklin Square.
The act of Gloria Gaynor, she performed one evening. We did Donna Summer one evening. We did the Village People one evening. Back then, those were some of the acts that we also did events where we would allow the younger kids to come and see and participate in dancing along with them performing. And they had a wonderful time.
A backlash followed, most famously the 1979 Disco Demolition Night, where a Chicago DJ blew up a crate of disco albums. The fad soon faded, replaced by punk, new wave, and hip-hop. But even today, the sound of disco is still alive. I'm Rafer Guzman for NewsdayTV.
Rafer, thank you. Read more about the history of disco on Long Island on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Checking out your hyperlocal Monday forecast, you'll see a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Taking a look outside, here's Main Beach and East Hampton. Beautiful skies to start your morning. Let's take a look at today's highs. Highs in the mid to upper 70s across the island, but we do see some areas with highs in the 80s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with highs in the mid 80s. So keep that in mind. Another beach day for you. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Glad to be back. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.